The Holy Scriptures plainly teach. Anyone who sets himself up as religious by talking a good game is self-deceived. This kind of religion is hot air and only hot air. Real religion, the kind that passes muster before God the Father, is this: reach out to the homeless and loveless in their plight, and guard against corruption from the godless world. James chapter 1 verse 27, the Message Bible. If I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but don't have love for others growing out of God's love for me, then I have become only a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal, just an annoying distraction. And if I have the gift of prophecy and speak a new message from God to the people, and understand all mysteries, and possess all knowledge, and if I have all sufficient faith so that I can remove mountains, but do not have love reaching out to others, I am nothing. Scan the QR code on the screen or visit bit.ly/God's gift for you for your free ebook as a gift from our ministry. Claim your copy today to better understand why God is not religious.
Hey folks, Dr. Danny Morano here with God is Not Religious Ministries, and I am so excited about premiering our brand new program, God is Not Religious, right here on the Faith Channel in the UK. I look forward to unpacking the revelation of the Word of God with you every week. I thank you so much for tuning in, and I know you will enjoy and be blessed. Spiritually speaking, and even literally speaking, throughout the history of especially Israel, the desert was a place known as the abode of wicked spirits. Okay, here you see what I put up: evil spirits of the desert. Forgive me, Azazel and the Jinn. Okay, the Jinn is in Islam, and it means the fallen angels. The Jinn is the abode of the fallen angels. Jinn are fallen angels, or the offspring of fallen angels, demons, evil spirits. The Jinn is the abode. Azazel. Who is Azazel? Well, we're told in the book of Enoch that Azazel was the angel who seduced and taught the women specifically and the people of the earth the weapons of war and bewitchment and seduction. He taught them, and he taught the women antimony. He taught the women the beautifying of the eyelids, makeup, cosmetics, all the things Azazel taught the women to do, which were used to seduce the watchers of heaven, the holy ones of heaven, who were sent by God to be like a security force. Yeah, they were sent to keep evil from manifesting too much in the earth. They were sent there as watchers, as security. So Azazel was, and we know that he must have been very, very instrumental in this, because when God judges the fallen watchers, he says, and ascribe all sin to Azazel. Let him be judged for all of this. That's pretty interesting. Now, 200 of them came down and they landed on Mount Hermon, okay, which means the Mount of Cursing, or the Mount of the Oath, or the Mount of the Curse. It's where 200 watcher angels, under the leadership of Sanjaza or Shemihaza, made the decision that they were going to go down and enter into the human race. They were going to do DNA manipulation. They were going to do genetic engineering. They were going to mess with the DNA of the God imagers. They were going to inject their DNA, their semen, their seed into the human race. to create for the fallen angels a progeny, a rival race. Think about that, people. That's what they were doing. So they went down, they made this agreement. It was called a curse. It's called an oath. I want you to think about swearing an oath. That's why Jesus said, do not swear oaths. Why? Because the first oath that was sworn on earth was sworn by fallen angels to corrupt the human race, to bring evil, fallen, spiritual, celestial evil, the deepest and most potent form of evil, to inject it. Yes, I'm using those words. To inject it into the human genome, into the human race. They entered in, they had sexual union with these women, took them as wives, so to speak, and created offspring. Those offspring we refer to as the Nephilim, the giants. They were a hybrid. They were a hybrid, okay, of human and fallen celestial beings, angels, fallen angels and human women. They were a mixture. And they came out because of their father's DNA, which was supernatural. They came out as giants. They came out as gods, Riley. They came out as the heroes of old. Genesis 6:4. These were the heroes of old. These were the men of renown. These were the gods of the pantheon. These were the gods of Mount Olympus. These were the offspring of the Anunnaki. These were the offspring of those who fell from heaven, who came from the heavens and created a rival race, not created in the image of God. God had nothing to do with this. That's why we see in the book of Enoch that the true faithful hierarchy of the angelic host, four archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, go to the Lord and they say, Lord, are you not paying attention to what's going on down there? Do you see what has happened? We have a mutiny on the Bounty. These angels that you sent down there to keep things in order, they have defected. Okay, they've gone AWOL. And Azazel has seduced them to come and create another race with these women. And this crazy race, this race of monsters who now has gone beyond mixing just with human beings, now they're mixing with beasts, with animals, with the animal kingdom, and creating aberrations. Yes, creating centaurs, creating cyclops, creating pans, creating chimera, yeah, creating things that are a cross between human, fallen angel, animal, I mean, sick stuff. And they are acting out of that beast nature upon the humans, upon the animal kingdom. They are doing corrupt, sick things sexually, spiritually, and in every other way. They're practicing cannibalism. They're devouring flesh. The angels go on to say, not only have they devoured animal flesh, not only are they devouring human flesh, and the humans have no defense against them. These are giants. These are monsters. Humans cannot defend themselves against. But now they've even turned on each other. And they're practicing cannibalism with each other. So this, all the insanity that was going on. So if you wonder, why is God so extreme? Why would God be so brutal? Why would he drown the earth? Well, this is why. He had to get rid of this vermin, rid of this, this evil that was just supernatural evil that was destroying all of creation. So that's the real reason for the flood. Okay, that's a whole teaching. I'm not going to do it here. we'll do that another time. I'm going to do a teaching on who are the aliens, and I'll teach you that from my book, Who Are the Aliens. But this is it. Who are these gods? Who is Apollo? Who is Osiris? Who is Jupiter? Who is Zeus? Who is Poseidon? Who is Atlas? Yeah, from which we get Atlantis is named after Poseidon's son Atlas. Okay, these are the fallen angels and their progeny, the Nephilim, those who were created by the fallen angels mixing together. And they ruled and they reigned on the earth for many, many, many years, okay? Until God finally brought judgment upon them, drowned them turned them on each other to have war with each other, drowned them in the flood, so on. Okay, but before that, this is why we have these, monstrosity structures in Egypt, yeah, the Giza pyramid. It's why you have these ridiculous, gigantic structures in South America with these steps that a human being looks like an ant on one of the steps. Where did that come from? Who built that? How could they build it? And why was it built? Is it because there were 30-foot tall beings on the earth, reigning and ruling as gods on the earth? And then, of course, after the flood and the extinction of that, and there was a revival of it through Nimrod, which we'll get into next week probably. I've already mentioned Nimrod, the horned god, the one who is thought is going to resurrect or reincarnate and come out of the abyss, who also became a Gabor, also became a giant, which I believe through satanic science like we're seeing being perpetrated on the public today. DNA manipulation, DNA bastardization is what I'll call it. Okay, messing with God's creation, bastardizing what God created and turning it into something evil and aberrant and detestable and abominable. So what's in the desert? Well, the desert harkens us back to the fallen angels that were chained there and their offspring that were also slain and chained there. Where Moses and Joshua were told to conquer in the land of Canaan was the land of the Rephaim. Rephaim were great giants. And of course, we know that their descendants were in the land. That's why when the Israelite spies went to scout out the land, they almost went poo-poo in their pants because they saw these giant beings, humanoids, okay? But they said, how are we supposed to conquer these giants? And the scripture tells us that these were the descendants of the Anakim. Anak was a giant, okay? And up until the time of Joshua and further, we have Og of Bashan, which is interesting because Bashan is right near Mount Hermon. So Og the giant who ruled Bashan was on the the valley before Mount Hermon, okay, Bashan, where Jesus stood and said, upon this rock I will build my ecclesia, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. He was standing before Mount Hermon. He was transfigured on Mount Hermon. Why? What's the significance of this? Well, the significance of it is that Christ came to undo what the fallen watchers did. He was coming back to set creation back correct. They turned creation on its head. They created a rival race. They turned things upside down through their wickedness and entering into the human race illegally. Yeah, unsanctioned by God, in rebellion to God, to create a rival race. And some theologians even believe that they had some understanding or at least premonition of a Messiah that would be coming to redeem humanity. So they wanted to corrupt the seed. Makes sense, doesn't it? They wanted to corrupt the seed so that the Messiah could not come through purely. They had no idea that God would circumvent that by bypassing the seed of Adam. Think about the genius of the Father, the genius that the Holy Spirit would place the Son of Man in the womb of a woman. Okay? Bypassing that corruption. It's just insane if you really look into everything. But that's what we have in the desert, people. Evil spirits of the desert. Judean evil spirit of the desert. Let's read this real quick. Azazel was traditionally held to be the leader of the Sairim goat demons. Have you seen that goat demon recently all over the United States? Have you seen the Baphomet? Have you seen that the Satanists and other groups have been putting up statues of the Baphomet? What a blasphemy! I forget which city it's in, if it's in Chicago or Detroit, one of these cesspools, one of these hellholes, where they put up a statue of the Baphomet and children at the feet of the Baphomet, worshiping the Baphomet. The Baphomet is the goat demon. He's the horned god. He's the goat demon who wandered the barren regions. The book of Enoch declared that he had originally been one of the watchers, the angels who fell from grace after copulating with human females. For this transgression, he was said to have been imprisoned in an area known as Duda El. He is mentioned in the book of Leviticus as the one to whom the scapegoat, the word scapegoat was actually put in our English Bibles by Tyndale, I believe it was, but it's the true word from the original language is actually Azazel. It's not scapegoat. So when the high priest put all the sins of the people, symbolically put all the sins of the people for the year in the Day of Atonement upon this goat, think about it, goat demon, upon this goat, and sent it out where? Into the city, into the ocean? No, where did he send it? Sent it out into the wilderness, into the desert. Why? Because that is where Azazel was imprisoned for his sin against mankind, for corrupting all of mankind, seducing the angels even to come and perpetrate this great abomination by joining together with the human women and creating this whole mess. Okay, so although Azazel was later supplanted by Satan in Christianity and by Iblis in Islam, he continued to be written about occasionally by both angelologists and demonologists. It was argued that he'd been a chieftain of the cherubim, the second highest order of angels, before he fell, that he served as a standard bearer in Satan's army of rebel angels. Now watch this. Azazel's connection with the goat was simply transferred over to Satan and to the horned god of Wicca. Rumor had it that witches often rode backward on a male goat to the Sabbath. And in the Middle Ages, the presence of a goat at a black mass was said to be indispensable. So it was the icon, yeah? The mascot of Satanism. Aleister Crowley's alleged nefarious goat rituals. You know who Aleister Crowley was, right? He called himself the Beast 666. He was the progenitor of the revival of Satanism in England, and it crossed over to the Americas, of course. Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin still lives in his mansion over there. Aleister Crowley's alleged nefarious goat rituals at the Abbey of Thelema were said to be inspired by Pan. Remember, I mentioned Pan. Pan is a goat demon, mixture of man, fallen angel, an animal, and his brothers satyrs. Satyrs are also these type of creatures that are animal, human, and either the demon or fallen angel, but may instead trace their origins all the way back to Azazel. Even the two-fingered heavy metal concert hand salute, what Ozzy did always does the peace sign, man. And I'm going to tell you, Christians, stop doing this peace sign. Knock it off with the peace sign. Okay? Because it's not a cool thing. It's definitely not a godly thing. It's a satanic. It's no less satanic, this peace sign, than this is. No less satanic. So knock it off with the peace signs. I see pastors with it. I'm like, you guys really need to start reading something. I mean, get a clue of what's going on here. Okay, even the two-fingered heavy metal concert hand salute has been frequently linked to devil goat horns. Huh? Think about it. Devil goat horns. Although mistaking teenage angst for Azazel worship was the blah, blah, blah. Okay, so these are the spirits of the desert. So what does this woman have to do with the desert? Why the desert? Why the woman in the desert? Why the woman on the beast in the desert? Because this is a revival of the men of the men of renown, the gods of old. Yeah? The great men of old, the men of renown. This is a revival of the Nephilim. This is a revival of the giants. And I'm going to tell you something straight, people. Those of you that are spending all your time arguing about this jab and everything else on the medical level, on the scientific level, as if it has any legitimacy in that arena, I mean, get a clue. They haven't legitimately approved anything. They're liars and they're murderers. Satan has been a liar and a murderer from the beginning, and that's all he ever does and all he ever will do, and that's what he's doing right now. Okay? But it's not about this, everything's about the medical side of this, the medical side, even the Christians that I talk to, and Christians that are in the ministry that I talk to. All they talk about is the medical side of this, the scientific side of this. Does this work? Is this safe medically? Will people die physically from this? People are on the wrong track. This is about what I'm talking to you about right now. This is about the revival and the reincarnation and the resurrection of the Nephilim. This is about the Nephilim once again. This is about the fallen angels once again injecting their semen, injecting their DNA into the human race to create the image of the beast. Huh? He wants everyone in the form of the image of the beast. The devil wants everyone to have his DNA. Do you understand that this is what's going? Stop with the who's getting sick and dying and who's not getting sick and dying and what's been approved and what hasn't been approved. And is this safe health-wise or not safe health-wise? Are ye not carnal and walk as mere men? Get spiritual about things. We are in the middle, yes, of tribulation. I don't know if it's 7 years. I don't know if it's 3.5 years. I don't know if it's going to be 50 years. I already explained to you about those numbers. But I'm telling you that we are in the midst of great tribulation. This is the final warfare. And it's a spiritual warfare. It's not about medicine. It's not about fake pseudoscience. Okay? It's not about politics. This is about the fallen ones and their final attempt to block the Messiah from returning. Do you understand that? This is what they are trying to do. They want to create a race of monster slaves created in their image. to, as slaves, yes, as masked, vaccinated, gloved, moronic slaves, carry out on the flesh side of the coin their spiritual agenda.
The Holy Scriptures plainly teach. Anyone who sets himself up as religious by talking a good game is self-deceived. This kind of religion is hot air and only hot air. Real religion, the kind that passes muster before God the Father, is this. Reach out to the homeless and loveless in their plight, and guard against corruption from the godless world. James chapter 1 verse 27, the Message Bible. If I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but don't have love for others growing out of God's love for me, then I have become only a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal, just an annoying distraction. And if I have the gift of prophecy and speak a new message from God to the people, and understand all mysteries, and possess all knowledge, and if I have all sufficient faith so that I can remove mountains, but do not have love reaching out to others, I am nothing. Scan the QR code on the screen or visit bit.ly/God's gift for you for your free ebook as a gift from our ministry. Claim your copy today to better understand why God is not religious.